Hey, how's it going? My name's Iran, and today let's talk about something pretty interesting. Something that's been, pretty active in my life more than I would hope, and it's a topic of arguments. I've been getting in a lot of arguments with mom, girlfriend, teachers, dad, sisters, friends, everybody. I've uh, I've been very active in the argument part of my life, and throughout all these arguments, I've noticed a few interesting things that seem to correlate between a lot of arguments and kind of things that differentiate between the successful arguments and the not so successful arguments. So I thought I would just share a few things that I sort of picked up on. So let's hop into it. All right, so the first topic is going to be perspective. Now, perspective, I've noticed, is a very important part of the whole argument. Because people, they're not the same. People grow up in different ways. And the way that I look at myself is not the way you would look at me, and the way that I would look at you is not the way that you would look at yourself, and the way that I look at things in general, at anything around me, is different than the way that you would look at things because we grew up differently. And to kind of show that, I've got this. So, like, imagine this ball is like the argument between us. So, me and you are in an argument, we hold up the ball like this. We can talk about, like, what's the ball, and I can tell you, yeah, I see the ball. It's a ball, and there's a face on it, and the face is blue, and it has a big round nose and a frowny face, and it looks kind of sad. And you'll be like, what the heck are you talking about? The ball has like a fairy-looking face with a pointy nose, and it's smiling and has tongue sticking out. The thing is that, we're both right. We're just looking at the problem in different ways. That's the whole thing. So now, to kind of give an example of how this plays in like normal life, so a fight that I've been having recently with my girlfriend is, I go over to her house, and I go into a room and I chuck my bag on the ground and take my jacket off. I throw it on the bag. We get into bed, so I take my socks off. I throw them in the corner of the room. Take my scarf off, chuck it in the corner too. And then she starts telling me, you're every time you come, you make my room a mess, and you make everything a big mess. And what do you mean? It's not a mess. I don't make anything messy. I'm pretty orderly. And the thing is that the we're just looking at it differently. To me, when my clothes are in a pile in the corner and the bag's at the foot of the bed, and the socks are on the pile, that's pretty clean. That's orderly, and for her, it's not. For her, she needs the clothes to be in a basket and the bag to be hung up or something. As you can see, we haven't completely worked through this fight. I'm still understanding what she needs, what her perspective of order and cleanliness in her room is. So, but it's just a different perspective of, we just see the problem in a different way. So you have to understand that the other person sees the problem in a different way from you, and that it's not worse. It's just a different way to look at the problem. It's not a worse angle, my angle. It's just a different angle to look at the ball. All right, so the next topic is criticism. Because I've noticed also in a lot of the arguments that, let's use the ball again for an example. As we said, the ball is the problem, and the problem is the cleanliness of my girlfriend's room. And I can take this ball and I can criticize her. I can throw the ball to her and say, you're a clean freak. The way you want your room to look, you're a little insane. And it doesn't need to look like that. And you can live with a few socks on the floor. And I throw the problem to her and say, it's your problem. If you would only be okay with a bit of mess, we wouldn't have this problem. And then she can throw the ball back to me. And she can say, you're a slob. You live in a trash can. How can you do that? If you would only learn to clean up a bit, then this problem would be fixed. And that way, we're just throwing the ball back and forth, and we don't get anywhere. We're just blaming each other and criticizing each other, and it becomes heated, and we're just throwing the ball back and forth, and nobody's taking the ball and saying, maybe I was a little extreme with how I needed my room to be cleaned, or, maybe I could put my clothes in the hamper instead of on the hamper, You know, and it's just like, you just, instead of throwing it back and forth, you think about it. Alright, and the last part is going to be a bit of solutions. You know, so one of the things that I've noticed is very important when it comes to the perspective thing is you have to trust the other person that that's what they see. You know, even though what I see is a blue face with a round nose, I trust you that what you see is a fairy face with a smile and its tongue sticking out. You know, and it's okay that we see different things. That's just the way we see the ball because that's where we're sitting. You know, and it's okay that we see it differently, and that's just how it is. Now, the next thing that's important is that you don't want to throw the ball back and forth. You know, you don't want to keep throwing it back and forth. You want to hold it together. Instead of throwing it back and forth, you want to hold it together, and that way you can both deal with the problem. The way to do that is to actually separate the problem from yourself. You know, it's, or not from yourself, from the other person. You know, it's not you're a slob and you throw your clothes all over the ground and you make my life miserable. You know, it's I need my room to be cleaned. You know, and there's a problem that my room isn't cleaned. You know, how can we fix that? You know, it's not you messed my room up, it's when my room is messy, how can we make sure that it's not? Because I need my room to be clean. You know, and I can say, instead of, you know, you're a crazy clean freak and you need your room to be perfect, you know, and you're just insane, instead of saying that, I can say, you know, like, it's hard for me that when I come home, you know, to start immediately cleaning. I want to take a second to, you know, throw my stuff on the ground and then rest for a second. And when you do that, when you move to the same side, basically, instead of being me and you and the ball against us, you know, we come to the same side, you know, me and you on the same side, and we put the ball, and we're both against the ball, against the problem. And how do we come together to fix this, to fix the problem instead of putting the problem between us? That way, those are just some little ideas, you know. So you have to trust that what the other person sees is what they see, and that it's okay that that's what they see. You don't want to throw the ball back and forth between you guys. And you want to join on the same side to be against the problem. You know, and one of the ways to actually become on the same side is to talk about your needs. You know, I sort of said that when I was talking, but instead of talking about, you know, what the other person did wrong, it's what do I need? I need my room to be cleaned. I need that rest when I come home, you know, that few minutes to sit on the bed before I start cleaning, you know, and that goes for every problem, you know, every, you know, I need to be heard more, I need to, you know, whatever problem you might have, it's just, you talk about what you need, and then you listen to what they need, and then you find a way together to work on the problem from the same side, you know, because you either love the person you're with or you're just fine with them, you know, most of the time you don't want to hurt the person you're with, you know, then that's a whole different situation. But you want to help them. You want to be on their side against the problem. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little talk about conversations and kind of arguments, and I don't know, just some interesting things that I've sort of picked up on over the last little while with all of my many arguments I get into. All right, guys. So. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you think is necessary, and see you guys next time. Bye.